PK52, the Saturday morning meeting. By appointment only, time management, business development workshop. Something I've created over the last few years. This evolves as the customer evolves. So in just a few minutes, I'm going to go over a test from this book that walks you through some things to think about when you're developing your own client base. So we're talking in the next few weeks all about by appointment only, how to build my client base. And the first thing we have to analyze is where our opportunities are. And I found this test, and this is a pretty good test. So I'm going to go through it. I'm going to answer the questions because I can't ask you guys, so this is not interactive. Where do you find a customer's just looking? And I would say on the lot, standing outside by a car. Okay, number 2 says, what's the difference between a customer and a client? And I know a lot of people say they're the same. But I think a customer is somebody that maybe the dealership drives into the store because of the money spent in advertising. And a client would be somebody that came and asked for you by name, something you've developed on the outside. So that would be my opinion. You guys can give me your own. List conditions or demands that create a must-buy-now vehicle situation. Somebody's totaled their vehicle. There's a high repair cost. They don't want to spend that money on their car. They get promoted to a big job and now they really don't want to park that bucket that they drive in space number 1 at the dealership, so they really need a new car for image. Increased family size, got to go from my 2-door to something else. New driver in the family. Got somebody that needs a car part-time or a second car added to the family, or I'm about to lose my lease and I'm going to need to replace that car. So that's number 3. Look at number 4. List an external group in which you have influence over, not your family. And I would say a lot of people go to religious organizations, so a church, civic organization, something like Lions, Toastmasters, Optimist, social clubs, networking clubs, stuff you like, music clubs, getting together with other business people in town. So this kind of gives you an influence outside the store. What's the weekly traffic in your service? I'm going to go through that in just a minute. We're going to do the numbers. What percentage of people who total lost their car need to replace that car? It's 100%. But how do I find out that somebody just total lost their car before they start looking for a car to replace it? We'll talk about that next week. Today's buyers would have to want to buy a car from a specific way or method, and it would have to equal 100%. So if I'd ask you these questions at a traditional dealership, online, off-site, delivered at home, over the phone, through a professional broker, through a wholesale club. 20 years ago, I think at a traditional dealership would have been the answer, but the right answer. Now, given the choice, I don't think anybody wants to go through the road to the sale at a dealership to buy a car. They would rather just do their research, go get the car, pick it up, have it delivered to their office, maybe buy it online. So then there's a couple more. In general, people would prefer to buy a large ticket item, car, truck, van, from a total stranger in a retail outlet they've never been to before, or someone they know, like, and trust. Number 9, there's only 10 of these. Automotive sales. How is it possible for a sales associate to sell 30 vehicles a month sitting one desk away from somebody doing 8 to 12? Same inventory, same hours of operation. My answer to that one is, the one doing 30 plus a month doesn't sell cars anymore, they sell themselves. The one that's struggling to 8 to 12 cars a month always has an excuse about why the market's bad, there's no gross in the cars are given away at the next Toyota dealership up the road. All the house deals go to Bobby over here, he gets all the house deals. And number 10, is it possible to control your day, week, month, and year? So what I'm going to do today in this segment is talk about fixed operations and fixed operations opportunity. Stand by. Going into service and service opportunities, I want to tell you my background because I can't tell you each individual of your background and the way you pursued service. I realized in the 80s when I started selling cars that not everybody in my market knew anything about a Toyota at all. In fact, it was a limited market, very domestic market. Toyota was starting to make its mark. So I had to find people that would like to buy another Toyota or buy a Toyota for the first time. And so I started thinking about, where do I immerse myself in the community where I know people know something about Toyota? And it dawned on me, it didn't come right off the bat, but it dawned on me that the people that came into service every day were driving Toyotas. How in the world am I going to meet every one of them? So I work the service drive 5 days a week. And so I'll use the number 5 today. 5 days a week. I got there every morning. I made the coffee. I would give the technicians a cup of coffee. We had to sell accessories back then. I wanted my technicians to be ready to install something for me. And then I met every single customer. I'd go up, I'd serve them a cup of coffee in the door. I would go up and make a joke, if they were feeling upset. If their kids were there, I'd talk to their children. And every once in a while, the service writer will say, hey, Casey, that guy's angry over there. Go tell him one of your stupid jokes and make him laugh, so my job will be easier. So I became an asset back in the service department, parking cars, portering cars, talking to customers, giving them something to do until the service writer could get to them. So I would hear this in the dealership. Casey, come to service, please. Casey, come to service. And I would sprint back to service. Now the Johnsons are looking for a car for their daughter. So this was an easy referral to me. Let's say, for example, that we have 4 service writers, and they're writing 20 ROs a day. So 4 times 20 is 80. All right, 4 times 20 is 80. 80 times 5, simply 400 ROs a week. So 400 ROs. That's 400 Toyota owners that drove to your dealership. You don't have to call them. You don't have to get on the phone, chase them down. You don't have to do these random lookups, for people that are about to expire on their car lease or about to turn a car in, or orphan owners. They're right there in the store. They're real humans, and you can actually see what they're driving. So I use the number 52. I don't know how you guys work it out, but I use 52 weeks in a year. This is 20,800 customers a year. That's a year. That's 20,800 customers a year. My question to you is, when is the last time you had 20,800 ups? When is the last time you had 20,800 people to talk to that knew the Toyota product? When is the last time you talked to 20,800 people that liked your dealership and came to your dealership on purpose? I would rather talk to somebody like this and work this into my future than to talk to somebody that drove in a busted down Nissan and was $5,000 upside down and didn't have any money down, that can't trade out of the car. How is it possible that you can be $5,000 upside down on a car that's only worth $4,000? It's amazing. So look at this as an asset, and I'm going to break this down for you in a couple of simple ways. Coming up just next. Continuing on the fixed opportunity side for a salesperson. So I go out and I pull a repair order. At the end of the day, every repair order is closed out. At the end of the week, the repair orders are available. Nobody ever works these repair orders. Let me show you just some simple information you can get off a repair order, and then I want you to think what I left out, because I'm leaving stuff out today on purpose for you guys to start thinking about this. I pull the repair order. I find the name, address, and phone numbers for the customer in case I want to contact them. Here's the name, address. What does address tell me? Well, if you live in a community and you know where they live, you can pretty much tell what somebody's income is. The next thing is type of car. All right, I'm always looking for a 2 or 3 or 4-year-old used car. I've always got a customer looking for a specific car. Well, this is a car I'm looking for. I've got a customer looking for a 2-year-old XSE Camry, murdered out, black on black. It's right there in the service drive. I mean, I'm going to call this customer up and just say, listen, I don't know if you're interested in trading or not, but I've got a customer that is really pursuing this car. This is a phenomenal opportunity. I have the miles on the car. Miles is an indicator of trade cycle. You think about it, most people trade a car in before they get to 60,000 miles. So for 45 to 60,000 miles, those cars are customers that might be thinking about trading the car. So miles give me an indicator. Same thing with year. People trade a car from 3 to 5 years old. So these two indicators right here tell me that these customers might be in the market to trade out of their car. Not only can I sell them a car, I now have their car to sell. That's a 1 in, 1 out. That's 2 for you. Service performed. A lot of times they'll do a major service and spend a lot of money on a car. If you've been in the business a while, as soon as somebody spent a lot of money on the car, they get ready to trade the car because they're in that what's next attitude. That what's next? What's coming next? What am I going to have to spend my money on next? Then, dollars they spent and the service writer's name. So before you make the call, you go back and say, hey, Bobby, you wrote service on Mr. Johnson. He had a 60,000 mile service on there, and you guys pulled a couple of extra things. Do you think Mr. Johnson might be thinking about trading his car? Has he said anything to you? So this is, I don't know, this is kind of like detective work. It's kind of like a strategy. I just really don't think there's a lot of strategy when we go stand outside and wait for an up. I mean, I know a lot of you make a great amount of living because you're great salespeople and you have the ability to talk to a stranger and they wanted a car when they come in. I know that's an opportunity, but why wouldn't you add some of this to your mix? Remember the number, 20,800. I'm not counting Saturday service. Next, we move into body shop. All right, finishing up today, and man, you guys know I could go on all day long, but let me just give you a couple more prep. If you have a body shop in your dealership, what salesperson is calling the body shop once a week and saying, how many cars are totaled? Answer is none. And I had a guy tell me one time, there's always ways to figure out why none of this will work. It's easier to figure out why it won't work than to try it. If we don't have a body shop at our dealership, there's a body shop in town that we refer cars to. They're not even a part of our family, and we're making them money. We refer all the wrecks and accidents that come through our service department to XYZ Body Shop. You don't think they owe us something? All right, so what happens is I got 20 cars in a small body shop that come in a week. Out of the 20 cars that come in a week, let's say there's 4 of those cars that are totaled. So those 4 cars, how many of these people need to have that car replaced? So they bring the car in, it comes in on a rollback, the front wheels and the rear wheels are touching each other. It doesn't take the body shop manager a couple of seconds to realize that car's totaled. So about 7 days, so 4 to 7 days later, the insurance adjuster makes it by the body shop, looks at the car, looks at the body tech or the body manager and says, what do you think? And they go, well, we would never repair this car because it would never be right again. Now, 7 days later, the guy said the car's totaled. So in this 4 to 7 day window right here, hi, I'm Casey, I'm calling from the dealership. Hey, your car just rolled into the dealership. And I went back and talked to my body shop manager, and he is about 99.9% sure that your vehicle's a total loss. The telephone pole is still inside your vehicle. So have you contacted your insurance company yet, and have you got a rental car yet? If you guys have track rental, put them in a Toyota. Put them in we don't want them out there driving a Ford or a Chevy or something else. So you get them a Toyota, get them in that track car. So find out how much money the car's worth. Say, let me do you a favor. Give me a number where I can send you over, or your email address, where I can get a full retail value on your car so I can send that over so you can send it to your insurance company. I usually find that I'll get my clients somewhere between $500 to $2,500 more than the initial offer of the insurance company. A lot of times people don't understand. The insurance company's trying to pay as little as possible, but they need to pay enough to replace the car. So become that broker of these people. I don't know, 4 a week. Even if I took 2 weeks off, 4 times 50, 200 people that have to buy a car. If you're selling 10 cars a month, that's more than what you're doing right now. Why would you not add a body shop roster? Why would you not go meet a body shop manager and take him to lunch at the closest body shop where you do business? Hustle after the business on the side. Think about service. Service and parts and body shop are clients that are currently doing business with your dealership. Thousands and thousands of customers that have bought or use your dealership on a monthly basis. Pick up your knees, think outside the box. This has been PK52, how to build your own business. The Saturday Morning Meeting.